to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today we begin anticipating the final reckoning, the final installment probably of the Mission Impossible franchise. We're going to start where it all began. Mission Impossible, released on May 22nd, 1996, 29 years almost to the day before the release of the final reckoning, as it'll be released on May 23rd. But yeah, it was written for the screen by David Koepp, Steven Zaillian, and Robert Towne, based on the television series by Bruce Geller, and directed by Brian De Palma. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you, and I am so fucking ready. We are finally here. I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it, and now we get to cover the we get to cover the franchise of Mission Impossible in full. And this is the shit I love. So this was a second viewing of Mission Impossible for you, correct?
Yeah, another weird kind of Twin Peaks sort of thing where I started it a little bit and then, I only have a little bit of it watched, and then from a point on will be first viewings. Yeah. But yes, no, this one is the only repeat viewing that I'll have. It was about a year and a half ago, or a little over a year and a half ago, and I thought that I forgot a lot of the movie, or at least it wasn't coming back to me.
It
just
sticks
at
with
first.
You,
but man, as I was watching it, I'm like, oh my god, oh yeah, duh. I'm like, oh shit, we're here, and it was a blast to revisit.
Dude, it's electric. It's an electrifying movie. The what's really really impressive to me is how chunked the movie is. We're not chopping it up, going place to place to place to place and thing to thing to thing. Like, it feels like every single part of the movie, it takes 10 to 15 minutes to get going. That whole section of the movie is dedicated to this location, this set, these actors, this scene, and I really really appreciate that. And it's not something I've ever really really paid attention to, particularly when it comes to my viewings. This was like 4 or 5 for me. My first time watching the Mission Impossible franchise was in anticipation of Dead Reckoning. At the time, Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Okay.
Now just Dead Reckoning, with the final reckoning being Part 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we get to Dead Reckoning, it still has Part 1 in the title sequence, and that's just like not even true anymore, which is funny.
And I heard it probably thrown in there for the last one. That's
the thing, is that like the final reckoning, it's the title certainly implies it. The trailer certainly implies it. Tom Cruise says something like, "I need you to trust me one last time," or something like that. Like, it's like it's definitely it's also probably close to time. It's been 30 years. This franchise has been going for longer than I've been alive.
That is, what the heck? Yeah, that's actually kind of nuts. This dude is just...
There's no other franchise that is being led by the same people that has been going on that long. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ving Rhames is still in these movies. Like, he's in every single Mission Impossible movie. That's...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes, okay. Luther Stickle is his boy. Like, that's a that's something.
Sick.
Yeah, no, that's what's incredible, is that like it's not like it's a, I mean, it's a little bit of a quote unquote mission of the week, but there's every movie stands alone very very impressively. Every movie probably could have been the last, which is why I say probably last when it comes to the 8th one. Like, every single movie kind of ends and you're like, yeah, you know what? I could be okay without watching another one. Of course, I want to watch another one. And that's until the modern Christopher McQuarrie movies, the guy who's directed 5, 6, 7, and now 8. They all And that's what's funny is every time I've ever pitched like somebody should watch Mission Impossible, I'm like, oh yeah, you can kind of watch any of them if you want. I'm like, you obviously got to start with one, and like typically people are like, well, you could probably skip 2 and 3, but 3 actually sets up a lot of what happens in like, funny enough, 6, and you're like, wait.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, and then I'm like, okay, so you got to watch 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You might as well watch 2 also, by the way. You know,
That's right,
like,
yes.
yeah. So,
Just-
I'm a completionist anyway, so that's just kind of how I roll. But yeah, no, I mean, I love the movie. I love the movies. I love the franchise. I don't think there's a single bad Mission Impossible movie. Now there are some that are worse than others, but I don't think any of them are outwardly bad. And starting here, hard to top, man. Brian De Palma is one of the finest film directors of his time. The man just has a sense of aura. The man can establish a vibe, and that's something that not a lot of directors can do quite as effectively. The paranoid sexiness that's going on here is incredible. It's a vibe that they kind of lose, you know. There's never a movie in this franchise again that feels exactly like this. And frankly, there's never a movie of the first 3 or 4 that feels like another one. You know, like they are all very, very unique, and I think that's something I really enjoy about it.
I was gonna ask if this is kind of a peak. You know, are we starting off at kind of a very, very high point?
Oh, you know,
for the
I
franchise?
have and that's what's interesting is that you have really, really interesting sensibilities and really interesting tastes. So, like, I don't view 2 and 3 on the level of this one. I have a feeling you'll have a soft spot for them, though. Kind of similar to me. I don't know if you'll like them more than this. I certainly don't. But I think there's a chance. I think you'll have a good time. So I'm excited. You know, the second one's a John Woo movie. The third one's a J.J. Abrams movie. So like we've got a pretty bizarre slate coming up. But I think we are
of this one.
Oh,
at
dude.
least if I don't know if that will continue or not. But
there's not a better looking Mission Impossible movie for my money. There's just something about Brian De Palma's visual sensibility. The split diopter shots, pick any of them, pick one. I don't care. All of them are awesome. He loves that. He loves that shit. There's the one whenever he's, you know, descending into the secured room at Langley, and the guy's in the bottom right corner of the screen, like about to get sick, and he's like dangling from the ceiling in the top left, and like it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I love shit like that.
What's the angle? Is it Dutch angle? Is that, I feel
yes,
like
we get some Dutch angles
God.
there. That's
There
a
were,
gorgeous sequence.
Lots of Dutch angles. You know, I love just getting up close and personal to Tom Cruise's face too. Him. You know, I was wondering how much he just runs in this movie. I think that's a funny thing to track for me, is just because this dude just looks so cinematic doing
dude's
anything.
a runner. He's a track star.
But no, I mean, you know, surprisingly, like
Minimal
there is action,
minimal running,
but like not.
That's why I'm like this franchise, where it starts is not where it ends up. Like this is obviously, yes, it's an action movie. The last set piece is really, really out there and ridiculous. The fucking train and a helicopter in a tunnel, like that makes it an action movie. You know, you can't go, well, this isn't actually an action movie. No, it is, because of that. But I've always thought that it becomes much more action focused than this movie was. This movie has a lot more thrilling, and I came back to the word paranoia at the beginning here a lot. Like whenever what's her name walks up on him in the safe house. And he pulls the gun out, and he's like, "Who sent you? Who sent you?" There's not really there's not another moment in the Mission Impossible franchise that even comes close to Tom Cruise feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's very unique. And don't get me wrong, he reaches pretty deep depths of emotion at times. You know, whether somebody dies or somebody's about to die or somebody's like he's got to protect somebody. All these things. But that's very specific to this movie. I think that paranoia, and I think it only even comes back up in fragments in 7. That sort of paranoid vibe. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's like you don't know who to trust. Can you trust anybody? You spend like the whole movie distrusting Kittredge, Henry Czerny, who is incredible. I love Henry Czerny's turn as Kittredge.
I know him as what this is bugging the crap out of me. I haven't checked just his IMDb yet, but I still don't know if I would know it. Like, it's such a weird, obscure thing that I feel like I know him from.
Is it his voice?
Kittredge. Maybe. Okay, that could be it.
Because his voice reminds me of Hugo Weaving in The Matrix.
Yeah, it was giving me some of that, like the delivery, and there was something there.
Yeah, like it's very level, and
oh
he
my
does
god,
that.
I think it's oh my god, I think I actually just got it, and it's so sad. It's a YouTuber. It's a dude who reviews like cars. Like he has like, I don't know, just every car you could ever think of, and it's just the way he talks, this mouth movement. Okay, wow. Anyway, yeah, but
that's incredible. I'm glad you figured it out.
Sad it's a YouTuber,
but yeah, if it reminds you of somebody, it reminds you of somebody. It could have been anybody. But,
I can't believe it. That was it. But back to your point on the paranoia and the like this. It's all about like, I don't know, the espionage and the spy world, and like, it's all up. It's not really. I wouldn't call, like, I guess the outsider perspective looking into Mission Impossible, I hear only about the stunts that Tom Cruise does.
Yeah, Tom Cruise does his own
the
stunts and everything.
crazy action and blah blah blah. That you're gonna, it's insane. You have to see it, and it's like, but this is like, I don't know. I kind of, I don't think the action is going to bore me. I think I will love the action when I get there. But this is the stuff that I think is juicy. Like, this is, I don't know. This is like, I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm like, I am paying attention to every like little like every line, just to like get any little clue, that I can.
And it's written sharp as a fucking tack, by the way. Like, my favorite line of the movie, it doesn't even actually apply because Tom Cruise isn't actually dirty. Kittredge isn't actually dirty. It's him actually being a good dude. But it's whenever they're in that restaurant and he like points out, he's like, follow me around the room. And he's like, why were they there behind the waiter? Why were they there in the alley? Why were they there?
Yep.
And, all that stuff. And so he realizes that he's being set up. He realizes he's being framed, and Kittredge starts to go in on him a little bit, and it ends with I don't mind if you shake hands with the devil's son. I just want to make sure that you do it in hell. I think that's so fucking cold. That is such a good line, dude. That's incredible. Like, and obviously Tom Cruise isn't dirty. It's just, but it's just that good of a line. Like, that's an incredible bar. I don't care if you shake hands with the devil.
Damn.
I just want to make sure that you do it in hell.
God damn. Yeah, this like, I don't know, this world that they're kind of building, it's not like they're even building a world. It's kind of just like, this is the CIA and the FBI, and like, this is just what they do, sort of thing.
The
but I think
IMF,
like,
yeah,
the IMF. That's not a real. That's completely made up. Right? Like, for this movie. Wait,
the IMF stands for the Impossible Mission Force. So yeah, no, not real. As far as we know.
Yes, but maybe it could be some shadow clone.
Exactly. I mean, like, that's the premise in this world, is that nobody knows the IMF exists either. So, like, yeah, I'm saying the IMF doesn't exist, but I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
That would be the whole point. Yeah,
that would be the point. That would be the point.
Then they're not doing
that would
their
defeat
job
the purpose.
too well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Then the knock list has been revealed, and we don't want that. I love the whole. That's why this movie is very singular in the franchise, is because, like you said, like, the action, while very prescient, is not the focus. It is the thriller. It is the espionage. It is the spycraft, and I think that's awesome. That's what makes it so special. Sorry, I'm getting got another call there. Don't worry, denied. But I wasn't going to be able to hear you for a second. I had to acknowledge it.
It's the
Yeah,
IMF. They're
the
I don't know.
IMF, the IMF baby, the Impossible Mission Force A is just so fucking funny. Like that's
Impossible
the name of
Mission Force. Yeah.
a whole division of a spycraft group, the IMF. And I really do love. It was because of these movies that I've become a Tom Cruise fan. Prior to watching these movies, I was very, oh, but he's in a cult and like, this, that. Yeah, but he's Ethan Hunt, like, I don't know. It's fine,
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't know the fucking guy. I like him as an actor. I like Ethan Hunt. I like the character, and it's something that you'll grow to. You'll grow to really, really appreciate this character, and I have no doubt in that. There's flashes of the man. Like, don't get me wrong. There's not flashes of the man he is. You really do get a really solid, firm understanding of who he is from this movie. But the moment whenever Jean, incredible, by the way, that what's Krieger, the actor's name is Jean Reno, by by the way.
What? Wait,
Yeah,
Jean
yeah.
Reno? That is too what the fuck?
JeanReno instead of
I don't like that.
Renault. We're also covering Twin Peaks, everybody, by the way. That's why that's a fun fact. And there's a character named Jean Reno.
Okay, and he is on the bad side, too.
He is on the bad side, yes. Dude's
but
been
not
around,
quite
though.
on the
I like
top
Jean
one.
Reno a lot. He was in a movie last year called My Penguin Friend, which was just fucking cute. Loved seeing that in theater. Yeah, no, so...
Too. Yeah.
he's been around. He's been around the block. You've almost certainly seen him and stuff. And that's like whenever he's about to stab the dude in the room, and he Ethan Hunt pins his arm against the wall. He goes, no, like nobody dies, or nobody. There's no. I can't remember what he said. No deaths.
Sleight of
or
hand.
something.
No sleight of hand with my money or something like that.
Oh well, that's
Or
different.
no,
I'm talking
the-
about.
that's the-
I'm talking about
the
whenever
worst.
they are infiltrating. And he tries to stab a guy, and he pins. It's when he realizes the knife was the same one that was used earlier in the movie and stuff. And he tells him like nobody dies or something like that. Like that's very quintessentially Ethan Hunt is nobody dies. Like he does his best to be a superhero, which is fucking cool. And he's just a fucking guy, which is fun.
Yeah, he is just a guy. But man, goddamn, he can. I don't know. I didn't doubt him one time. Like he's so confident, and I love that. Like the little the breakdown of what's the plan. What's the intel? We're going in. We're just stealing some information. What is it? Well, it's valuable. Where is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's in Langley or whatever.
You
And
think
they're like,
we'll be able to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do it. Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah,
bum,
come
bum.
on
It's
now,
fucking
dude.
sick, dude. Oh
Yeah.
my god. And by the way, score work, Danny Elfman fucking killed it. Obviously the theme itself is from the original 1966 series that was on TV.
I always forget about this.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And I have some more fun facts about that we'll circle back around to here in a second. But the score work from Danny Elfman is incredible, specifically whenever the plan is falling apart at the beginning of the movie. Oh, my God. There is just some swells from the music there that again, emphasizes the spycraft, the paranoia. It's James Bond-esque, it's swelling, and it's fucking beautiful, dude. I love it. But fun fact about the series here. Ethan Hunt is an original character to the movies. Developed for Tom Cruise.
Okay.
Like, it was like, yep, you're going to lead these movies. We're not going to make you the same guy as the lead of the original Mission Impossible franchise. You're a whole new guy. You're Ethan Hunt. That's cool. And I'm sure Tom Cruise had a heavy hand in deciding that as well. John Voight plays Jim Phelps. Jim Phelps was the main character of the series Mission Impossible. And he was the main hero, and he was the main good guy, and he was the main dude. He was the hero. So like him being the villain is a big twist to people who would have been able to see both the series and the movie, which is pretty cool. I think that's a fun idea. It'd be kind of like if, for the sake of comparison, we're covering Twin Peaks right now. If in another 10 years they made a Twin Peaks movie where Dale Cooper was the villain, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and it was, you know, like so that's what I'm saying though. Like it's really interesting the way the sanctity of that sort of thing. It came at like the perfect time where they were able to do whatever they wanted with it. Like there's a lot of stuff where like now that would probably be a pretty big deal if a show from the early 2000s you know, quote unquote butchered a character like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it changed everything about him. It's not even him anymore. You know, like that would be a relatively big concern for people. But it was a show from the 60s, so it was like, who the fuck cares?
Wow, it's almost like if you just write things good enough, it like doesn't matter if it's like the source material or you know, it's like weird that just I don't know, kind of
whatever works for the story apparently can be good. I guess, you know,
I don't want to get too be too hard on that because I did used to be in that camp. I did used to be. I loved, you know, I don't know why. I never truly read the comics or I never did. I wanted things to be true for whatever reason. But now, no, it's just do whatever you want as long as it's good, you know. This works. I would have no clue that he's a completely new character like that. I don't know. I guess I didn't know. I guess while watching that there truly was a TV show to go along with it or anything. But like, he fits right into the world. I guess is what he is just the guy. Like I wonder, like how you come up with the name Ethan Hunt. Like they know like Bond, you know, exists, and like I feel like that's like the closest kind of comparison you got is like this is just the American Bond, you know, or I don't know.
Then Jason Bourne a couple years later is kind of you know, but that was still after this. So like there is that's why I'm like I am always impressed with the names. Whenever people come up with a name that just fucking get you,
Hunt.
You know, Ethan Hunt, Jason Bourne, John Wick. You know, like those are names. You know,
man. Like I feel like it is just people. Like there's no way it's just they know it right away. I don't know. I feel like someone just blurts it out and they're just like, oh
shit,
they just know it. But no, Tom Cruise, like this dude. I wonder because at the end of the movie they clear, you know, they play another tape and it self destructs. What? Quick, I guess, side note: is this where self-destruct messages come from, or is this a previous spy thing, or is this the actual? Because I don't know. I guess I've known it my whole life, but this movie has been out my whole life.
Yeah, right. So. Exactly. So like, and that's where I'm like, maybe it was from the original series. You know, I don't know if it's like this message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. I don't know if that is specific to Mission Impossible, but.
Oh no way. Oh okay. So yeah, I guess it was the television show.
Gotcha.
But it was changed later in the movies. Yeah, so wow, but still that it was Mission Impossible that I guess is the origin, which is kind of crazy. That is cool. It feels
cool. I didn't consider that I've known that as a thing my whole life either, but this message will like The Incredibles does it and all that good stuff. There's all sorts of fun stuff with that. The Incredibles is actually like score-wise and a lot of like it's actually directed by Brad Bird.
Shoot. Oh yeah. Wait
The Incredibles is directed by Brad Bird, who directs Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol.
Man.
So and I'll have
similarities between those is actually kind of nuts. Wow.
I will go ahead and point out some more fun facts when we get to that, but there's a lot of influence that Mission Impossible has had on movies at large, and you know Tom Cruise. He's a very, very important man in Hollywood. You know, like he is very, very of note. Everybody knows him. Everybody, you know, he has sway. You know, so like what he said, like he kind of determines the trajectory of this franchise. You know, like there's a lot of there's a lot of directorial choices that are like inescapable. Like you are the director of the movie. There's no way that it's not your movie. You know, but when it comes to who's getting cast. And who Tom Cruise is going to be acting across from and some of his story beats. Like, he has a pretty heavy hand in deciding stuff like that. So it is cool to see, like, whenever I brought up Brad Bird a second ago, the director of The Incredibles, he's like every new director that these movies had, Tom Cruise was like, I would like to work with that guy.
Oh, okay.
You
Wow.
know, like that's the sway he has. It wasn't like well, the director was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Tom Cruise was like, would you like to direct my next movie? You know,
He knows. He just
yeah.
knows. It's I mean, cuz like what is it without him, you know?
Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. You know,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm like, I think that this franchise isn't one that can be reignited once Tom Cruise is done playing Ethan Hunt. You know, like I really don't. You know, it is similar to John Wick for me in that regard. Like we've got that one spinoff of John Wick coming here soon with Ana de Armas, but Keanu Reeves is still in it, so it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like it can get by. But the Continental, that show that came out, I have no fucking interest in watching that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care about that. I don't give a fuck. You know, like it would be similar if they were like, yeah, here's I don't know, IMF and here's an IMF mission in Budapest with some random agents. I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care. Where's Tom Cruise? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like John Wick has more of a pull because there is like an actual kind
There is a
of
larger world.
well,
Yeah.
the world is a cool pull, but John Wick is still it's Keanu. I don't know. It is
Yeah.
still Keanu why I'm going in for that. And I think even if the Mission Impossible world is built up, you know, more. I've only seen the first one, so it could, you know, I'm assuming the world expands or there's some deeper shit going on, or it just gets a little more entangled, or I don't know. Maybe it is just simply here's another mission and Tom Cruise is the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is I don't know, I couldn't imagine really anyone else doing it other than him, which is kind of like, you know, on the sheet, you know, I kind of wanted to. Is it going to just be Tom Cruise for the performance and the character every time, or like
I'll
is there?
say no. I can't say that it's a guarantee it will be him every time.
Okay, that's good.
There will be I will be hard pressed to tell you anyone else will claim character. I do think it's possible some other people, and I actually guarantee it's possible, and I have one specific performance in mind that somebody will take performance over Tom Cruise at some point. But
Okay.
and you'll know it when you see it. We'll get there and you'll be like, "Oh, so that's the one you were thinking of."
Okay.
You know,
'Cause I guess I was wondering if it was just going to be dominated by Tom the whole time. If I should just like give, basically be like, well, I recognize that Tom Cruise is the man. You know, for
should
the
we
franchise.
do an automatic
And-
honorable mention
Yeah,
sort of thing?
you know, yeah,
maybe
so-
we keep it in mind. Maybe we do have an honorable mention on deck, sort of. You know, but I mean, it will be a lot of Tom Cruise. Don't get me wrong. It will be a lot of Tom Cruise because something that this movie also did for me is kind of prove to me, not prove to me, but like I said, I wasn't a Tom Cruise guy prior to watching the Mission Impossible movies. I all of a sudden can see what makes him a good actor. You know, I can see why he's a movie star now. You know what I'm saying? Why he is probably the biggest movie star ever, like or amongst them. You know, like it's kind of crazy that this is. We've talked about this before. He's just a bizarre person to know exists. Like he's been so famous for so long that it's like, how do you even reconcile that? Like he's been famous for 40 years. Like not just a guy ever, like not just he's been successful. No, he's been world famous for 4 decades. Like that's he's been as
better than LeBron James. He's literally
he's been world famous for almost as long as my dad's been alive.
This is insane.
You know what I'm saying? Like since my dad was 6, he's been world famous. Like that's
are we
nuts.
even through it? Are we even through? Is this his?
No.
You know, is he still going? I think he's still growing somehow.
Yeah,
you know, it's
like
incredible.
it continues to be. He continues to, and that's why it's like, it's really impressive what he's managed to do. And I think that as a performer, he gets the job done, man. Like there's some really really intense moments where he knows how to reach some depths, and like there will be moments where. This movie, he never really has to, he never has to cry. He never has to do any of that. But like he will, and you'll see that. You'll see that side of him and everything. And it'll. There's something that he does almost better than anybody, and it's that the way that Max describes it. Like the tone. It was playful. He was never playful. Like this dude is charming as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like everything he does whenever he's being playful and everything, it's so endearing. You can't help but be like, I like this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like the sleight of hand stuff and the scenes with Max. Those are all very, very charismatic and charming. It's something he does really, really exceedingly well, and something that these movies, you know, I mentioned that maybe not all of them are paranoid the way that this one is. All of them are going to be sexy like this one is. And, you know, maybe not quite as sexy. Like this one has a lot more like lingering sexual energy. I mean, literally the people are going to be hot in every Mission Impossible movie. It's just how it goes. They are all so fine. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there were. I mean, people wanted to fuck Ethan. You know, Max.
Yep.
I feel like wanted to fuck Ethan, or you know, it was just that she was like, "Oh my God, you're just spontaneous." Like,
yeah, she
whenever
said,
he's in
like,
the back of the taxi, he's like 10 million whatever bills or like treasury bonds, and then she's just like, oh fuck, okay, like shit.
At the
like,
end, whenever he gives her the knock list, and she's like, I hope this doesn't preclude a face-to-face meeting. You know, she's like, I kind of want to pay you back for this a little bit. You know, like,
yeah, straight up. I mean, and then you know, well, I guess it's kind of, you know, is she just playing in his head, or is it actually that she wants to fuck him? You know, it's like it's Jim's wife, but I don't know. It's like I don't know how to truly read that one.
Jim's wife is one of the more interesting parts of the movie, because her loyalty is to Jim, but her loyalty does sway to Ethan. You know, Claire, you can tell she was kind of along for the ride from the beginning. You know, she had to help initiate a lot of it. You know, she couldn't have been innocent. There's no way it was possible for that. But, you know, at the end, whenever she's trying to convince Jim to let Ethan live, that's very genuine. You know, like the plan was originally Ethan dies. And then all of a sudden she's like, ooh, don't think I can let that happen anymore. You know, and that's why Claire is a really, really interesting one. I like that, you know, it's pretty classic spy world stuff to have like the femme fatale be you know, alluring with her sexuality, and then she ends up, but I like that they subvert that expectation by actually making her good, you know, like she is good at her heart. She just was along for the ride with her husband, you know.
Just got tangled up in the wrong wrong place, wrong time here. And then, the only gripe that I have with the movie, it's a singular line that John Voight rips out here in the back of the train of tasting the goods. You know, I guess it paints him as, you know, the bad guy. Pretty, you know, it's very easy to hate him after that. But just the way it comes out of his mouth, I don't know. I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, it also implies that he was,
and,
John Voight is like, already also disgusting. Yeah, John Voight sucks. So like, there's a lot going on there, but like, he there's that essence to him that's just grotesque. You know, you're like, you fucking like, nasty old man. You know, like, leave her alone.
Yeah, with like the most beautiful, like she's lit like an angel in most shots. Woman. Yeah, it's like it's insane. And then it's like to hear him say that, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this poor woman. I'm like, so honestly, it's like, I think Claire is just, she's like, maybe it was that was just her way of being basically number two, or basically number one. Like she was controlling Jim. I don't know. It was her way of I don't know. I guess I'm trying to. Let's see. I'm trying to think at the end. Yeah, she's still. No, she got shot.
No, she got shot and killed.
Jim shot her. I guess I was trying to think if they went back and like if she was okay, or like if it's possible for her to come back.
No, she's just dead.
They shot her. She is. I don't know.
Yep, gone. She gone.
And Jim definitely, Jim and Krieger, they're
done for. They show Jim hit the fucking tracks as the helicopter lowers, which is that dude's dead.
I don't think homie was faking it on this one. You know, I don't think that this is the bridge situation here. I think that he is gone crazy.
Which, by the way, is extremely funny. Like there's a lot of parts in this movie that like, you know, I love how serious they take it, which is what makes the movie as good as it is. But the guy fake shooting himself, grabbing a thing of fake blood, rubbing it all over his stomach, and then looking at it is so funny to watch.
Ethan.
Ethan, throwing the stuff into the water as he does it. Like it like out of context, it's really funny. Like it's one of those things where like tone wise, if you change the music, it could be a funny moment. And I think that's what's incredible about scenes like this. I love, you know, it's going to be the hack of a lifetime. It's the Mount Everest of hacks.
Oh, yes. The Mount Everest of hacks, dude. He couldn't say no after that.
Need to be plugged into the terminal. Yeah.
Luther was my other character. If I had to give a character to anybody
Luther
else,
will
it's him
consistently
for sure,
be.
dude.
If I had to give another
so
character, Luther is a fucking G. I love Ving Rhames. I love Luther.
There was never no physical evidence of me, attached to that immaculate. Of that what did he say?
Piece of work.
Beautiful. Yeah, like, oh man, yeah, he's just perfect, so sly and like the kind, when you think of a hacker or whatever in a movie, you think of just a nerdy, skinny dude, or whatever. And no, it's like this
Ving
dude's
Rhames, dude,
buff as shit, and like just completely the opposite.
He's an underrated actor. He's worked with some of the best, dude. Like he worked obviously here with Brian De Palma. He works next movie with John Woo. I think he's in 2. Pretty sure he's in 2. I might be mistaken, but. He's in almost every Mission Impossible movie, if not every Mission Impossible movie. He's worked with Scorsese in a movie called Bringing Up the Dead with Nick Cage, I think is what it's called. Oh yeah. There's
Fiction?
Pulp Fiction. Yeah, he's the big black guy who gets gagged and all that
Wallace.
Stuff. Yeah, he's the big bad who's Uma Thurman's husband and everything.
Okay. Wow,
yeah, worked with Tarantino.
Wow.
He was in Con Air. He's done some shit, man. Ving Rhames has been around the block.
Okay.
So, dude's a really talented actor, and I think that's something that these movies really, really take advantage of. Like he does his shit, and he's good at it.
I knew it. Okay.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, Bubbles. Yeah. Oh my
Bubbles.
God. I was scrolling. Okay. Like there was something. I'm like, no, I know this man from something deep down. And it is, yes.
Well, that's what's funny too, is the character is also modeled after him very clearly on screen.
Bubbles. Yes.
Bubbles.
The glasses,
deep voice is incredible. Yeah. He's also Arby's. We have the meats.
That's him.
That's Ving Rhames also.
What? Oh my. Okay, that's the most mind blowing thing I've heard the whole of today. Wow, Arby's is Wow, who would have thought?
I'm pretty sure that's Ving Rhames.
That is.
It'd be really funny if I'm talking out of my ass, but I'm fairly certain Arby's is.
Yeah. Nope, it is him. No, yeah. For the past 10 years, no shit. Wow, it's Yeah, I guess like a lot of commercials or taglines are just like actors or like like Allstate, are you in good hands? Like I don't like it's just I don't know.
Capital One, what's in your wallet? Like all that shit. Like that's Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, damn. Okay, I guess. Being Arby's, who would, man? Wow, yeah, but I'm very glad that he's kind of the staple because I didn't even know, and he was the character I was gonna go with if I had to go. With,
oh, dude, you will continue to love Luther. That is not something that'll go away.
Yeah,
he is, and what I really love about this franchise is even though it starts here, and this is very, very like. I'm hard-pressed to tell you another Mission Impossible movie is better than this. I have my personal favorite, and I won't even spoil which one that one is. But this is top 2. This is top 2 with it. The thing that this franchise becomes that I really love is a lot more sentimental. This one is really... how do I want to put it? It's... they'll wash their hands of a character pretty quickly if they need to. It's like fuck it, like you did this, you're dead, you're done, and like it's not like that's, but one of the things that I have a problem with in like Marvel movies is that like they like to kill, like villains end up dead by the end of movies. And then there's no chance that they can ever come back up around or anything, And that's not really something that happens in these movies. Like these movies, there are lingering characters where you're like, well, this person still exists somewhere. What if they're important? Like, what if they come back around? I like that sort of thing, and like that's why like Luther. You were pleasantly surprised when I said Luther comes back around. Like Luther is probably second fiddle to Ethan a lot of the time. That's he's an important character in the franchise, and it eventually becomes like you saw that like their little exchange at the end of the movie. It's I'll miss being disreputable. Yeah. Well, if it helps, Luther, I'll always see you that way. Like they've got a cool friendship, and that friendship only grows in these movies, and that friendship continues to be a beating heart of them. Like it's really really cool to see, like movies that can be perceived as macho action man movies, like they do have a lot of heart when it comes to like I want to protect my friends, I want to protect my family, like these are the people I love and you're not going to fuck with them, like that's that's really cool.
When he
and
saw
that's
his
something
parents
that these
on
get.
the news, he saw his parents on the news, he was like, oh fuck, he was like, oh, I'm going to this fucking payphone, I'm not
it's over,
more than 27 seconds on this phone, or whatever, however long
dude was cold with it.
Yeah, he's just perfect in every way, and I'm glad, the what's the word, disavowed, how
disavowed,
or disavowed, like
definitely not the last time you'll hear that.
Yeah, so at the end, like it, now that everything was resolved and so Luther is no longer on the disavowed list. So like he's good, but like
and I'm pretty sure the ending is implying that Luther is actively rejoining the IMF. And Ethan was like, I'm going to step away,
but stay after disavowed, everything. Right? Like he's staying. Like, is he still?
No, he's not still disavowed. He's clean now, but he's just no longer an IMF agent. Is kind of what he's saying.
Okay.
But they're like, you're still an IMF agent. Like, let's talk about it.
Once
come
you're
on
in,
now.
How can you ever leave? That this sort of life, is like once you start, there's no way
you're a
slow
secret
down.
agent.
I mean,
like that's a.
Damn. Yeah, that's kind of like reminded me of like it kind of a different vein, but the killer at the end where, I don't know, just an assassin or serial killer can't just sit down and enjoy life. Once you start that life, you're in.
Addicted. Yeah, 100%. And that's something that that's something that's concerning for Mission Impossible 8 a little bit. The only way I see this franchise really ending, and I would love a happy ending. I would love Ethan Hunt riding off into the sunset and getting to live happily ever after on a beach somewhere. But it doesn't really feel like Ethan Hunt's character to be willing to just stop. It feels like he's going to do this until he dies.
Unless there was true world peace. If that, maybe that is how the movie ends, is that there is
they have achieved serenity.
Yes. An absolute knowledge that there is no longer going to be any more conflict ever again. I don't think so. I don't know. But yeah, I think if I had to guess with my very little knowledge of the series, I would assume that this isn't going to be the last one. I don't know. I just have a feeling that there will be like the end of John Wick 4 where
there will be a
dead. But
he'll be dead.
Is he?
Yeah, exactly.
Is he really? It's like I think is kind of gonna. It is my guess, but because
I mean, like,
I don't know.
It is one of those things too, where like, it's been going 30 years, but it's like if Tom Cruise is still capable, why stop? If he wants to keep doing it, he wants to keep doing it. Like, hey, fuck it. I don't know. I think that I'm not really of the mind that it's a franchise that has to come to an end by any stretch of the imagination, as long as it doesn't continue ever without Tom Cruise. That's kind of my only stipulation.
8 is just kind of crazy. Once you start getting all in the double digits, I mean, I don't know. I think people just start looking at it like, well, I'm way too late. Like I can't even get into it at this
Yeah.
point, or like the only franchises I can think of, like Star Wars, we're in the double digits there, but like Fast and Furious, it's like
Yeah.
people, it was good, but now it's like not even taken seriously at all anymore. And I feel like even if Mission Impossible, if all the movies are like, I feel like they are way better than the Fast and Furious movies. But if they get to like 13, then people are just going to be like, "Oh, okay, well, come on now." Like,
And I mean, like, hey, I would like as many Mission Impossible movies as Tom Cruise and McQuarrie are willing to make. But also Tom Cruise is 60. So like, like
60 years old.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, I guess I'm watching him away. This is a time
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I have to.
No, but I mean, you'll watch him fucking in the 2023 movie Dead Reckoning when he was late 50s. Fucking gunning it, just sprinting, jumping, doing all sorts of physical shit that you're like, you are a upper 50s, nearing 60-year-old man. Like, calm down, dude. Maybe take a break. And that's why, like, that's what makes Ethan Hunt so cool. Is what I said? I was like, Ethan Hunt's gonna do this until he dies. You know who else is gonna do this until he dies?
Yeah.
It's Tom fucking Cruise.
Maybe he just is trying to become Ethan Hunt as close as he can, and this is you just got to do it in movie form as long. I mean, maybe he is practicing in the background in the real IMF, just going saving
Tom
the
Cruise
world.
is actually doing impossible mission force tasks.
Yep.
Sorry, they're knocking on my door. We've cracked the code.
Yeah, FBI, open up. Yeah, it's
over. That sort of shit. Yeah.
But yeah, and in the movies is just like, this is easy mode for him. The real life shit. That's that's the training just for the movies, which is a cakewalk. But no, yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome just to see him kind of grow, because I've never truly been like a hater. I've thought of him as a weird, the Scientology, or that's an interesting route to go down. That's for sure. But as far as like movies and stuff, I've always just known him as one of just people love him in the movies, and I've never kind of had, I don't know, I've never had a reason to love him or to really hate him in movies.
Right.
And I think I'm finally getting a couple of his movies in here, but I want to watch more outside of the franchise at the same time if I can, of him, to kind of get.
I got a few.
Get the kind of.
I got a few.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that while I am impressed with Tom Cruise as a performer, a lot of the stuff within the last 15 years, he's basically playing Ethan Hunt. Regardless of what movie he's in, because he's been pretty much exclusively action guy for the 2000s.
Yep.
If you want to get to his truly most interesting work, it's before that. Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick, Nicole Kidman, great fucking movie. He's unbelievable in it. The Color of Money, Martin Scorsese, Paul Newman. That's a great one. Risky Business. He did a lot of really, really good stuff back then. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good stuff in his action vein now. Like Edge of Tomorrow with Emily Blunt. Fucking kick-ass movie, dude. You'll love that one. It's a Groundhog Day, the keep living the same day over and over one, and it's really, really strong. But it's an action version of that instead of we just got to find our way out. Ooh, love was the key. It's an action movie version of it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I guess I've seen Collateral. I did like that it's kind of an Ethan Hunt-esque, but not.
He's dark. He's the villain in that.
Yeah, I guess, but kind of still the guy, the guy that just is trained. He's in that the dark side of things. But I always thought like Jack Reacher. This is not related to Mission Impossible at all. Like the
Reacher films are not.
Yeah,
no.
For some reason I thought that like Jack Reacher was like a spin-off of Mission Impossible. But
no, not quite.
Not even. I think it was just because it is Tom Cruise.
I'm pretty sure Reacher might be a pretty similar character. I watched the first Jack Reacher movie with Tom Cruise. I mean, shit, I was probably 12.
Yeah, that's when it came out. Yeah, good
Yeah,
old
yeah.
damn, holy crap. Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know. I've heard that Jack Reacher is actually like a giant man, like in wherever the original, like he's like a 6 foot huge, like
Well, Alan Richson
and
plays him in the current Amazon series, Reacher.
let's see who is Alan.
He was in Ungentlemanly Warfare, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly
Oh,
Warfare. That guy, that
oh,
show, that's Jack
yeah.
Reacher. That is the
Okay,
same.
that makes sense. For what? Yeah, I think it was my uncle who was like a big Reacher. I don't know if there what the original thing was before the movies, but like he knew
It
Reacher
was a
as this.
novel. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
novels. It
Wow.
was a series of
Hmm.
Tom Clancy novels, I think. Reacher.
Oh,
Um, but
okay.
I think I might be talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah.
there's like American Made or something like that. I've heard decent things about, or
Hmm.
it's something like that for
But
Tom Cruise.
I guess all this to say that yeah, it does look like he does go on to continue to play this type of a
Yeah, and
character. It's just
that's why I'm also like, while I love the Mission Impossible movies, I would like to see in the. I mean, shit, he could be doing this another 25 years. There's no fucking way to know.
true.
Like, I would love to see him return to Magnolia and Eyes Wide Shut and shit like that. Like, get back to acting instead of just being big bad action man. Because and I don't want to be the guy who tells Tom Cruise he can't do this forever, because he'll just be like, "Fuck you, yeah, I can."
Yeah,
You know.
I will. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever he's got cooking to keep him young, I don't know. Whatever concoction he's doing, he's doing something, and it's probably
I mean,
dark.
Don't get
Like,
me
if
wrong.
I
Yeah,
had-
like
I-
I'm not looking forward to the day years after he's been gone. Whenever they're like, "So here's the deal with Tom Cruise," and we're like, "Ah, man,"
yeah,
like
it's like he
ooh.
farmed children or something. I don't know, like stem cell. I feel like it is something crazy.
Hearsay,
like,
hearsay.
Yeah. So I hope not. I'm just preparing for the worst. I got, but
Yeah.
but no, yeah. He is. I think I don't know. I didn't realize that he's doing it for longer than LeBron James. I thought LeBron was actually doing better than him, but no. Like, it's actually LeBron looks up to Tom Cruise as a career, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Tom Cruise's Hollywood career.
Have LeBron James jump off the side of a mountain on a bicycle. How about it?
Multiple
Motorcycle.
times too,
Yeah.
not just one. Whenever
Gotta-
I saw that
gotta
for
get
the
a
first
couple
time
takes.
of him, like, oh yeah, let's run it again. I'm like, wait, what? You're doing it again? And then he's like, oh yeah, this was like 7 on the day or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck? What human are what? Who? I mean, if this was my job though, holy shit, this would be sick. Like, if this is you could give your 100% time to was just doing cool shit, like, yeah, this would be incredible. But I don't know if I have the balls to be parachuting off a mountain over and over and over. But man, yeah, I'm glad he's doing
that's
it.
why I'm like, I'm so excited for the movies that come next. I think that there's a lot that this movie. The thing is that the vibe of this movie doesn't really carry over because no other director is capable of doing Brian De Palma. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's he's just have you ever watched? If you've seen the movie Blowout, it's got John Travolta. It's fucking incredible, dude. Like, if there's a Brian De Palma movie, I'm like, you gotta see it. It's Blowout. Strongly recommend you watch it. He also did Phantom of the Paradise, obviously Scarface. That's a big one. Carrie, Sisters. He's been around the block. He did a lot. He's done a lot of work. There's just something about the way that he cultivates this vibe, and Blowout is specifically one that I think is pretty comparable. It's incredible. It's incredible, and it's not something that a lot of other directors are capable of achieving, which is why I say that I tend to look at Mission Impossible 3 as like setting the tone for what the franchise becomes, and that's because J.J. Abrams is a lot more easily replicable than Brian De Palma. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier to build on than it is to build on Brian De Palma. Because how do you build on something like that? Like, it just is. There's no imitating it.
The tension alive the whole movie, like it just with, I don't like the The scene, I guess, yeah, it's tough to pick a scene. Like, I don't know which like operation or which scene I want to go with. It's almost crazy that my scene is like just in that aquarium restaurant with
Dude,
Kittredge and him just talking. Like it's
this whole operation was a mole hunt.
Oh my god!
Like,
the slow him figuring it out, just naming every single person, and then they're back Kittredge and him back and forth, like your line, and then Ethan saying like, Kittredge, you've never seen me very upset. Like he's actually getting fucking pissed. He's realizing all this.
Well,
shit
and like again, the performance Tom Cruise puts on in that moment is probably my favorite of his in the movie. Whenever he like buries his face in his hand, he's like, "This whole operation was a mole hunt," and like he like pulls like his hands down his face and his eyes are between his fingers, and he's like, "Oh my fucking god," like he just can't believe what he's hearing. It's good stuff, man. It is, and I think that you will only love this franchise more and more. We've got some fun actors and actresses coming up. We've got Thandiwe Newton and Anthony Hopkins in 2. So a little Westworld reunion there, or predecessor. We got Philip Seymour Hoffman is in 3. Jeremy Renner is in 4.
Okay. All right.
So Leah Seydoux is in 4. Trying to think of a few more. Simon Pegg gets introduced here before long. He's great. Rebecca Ferguson, Lady Jessica ends up being a pretty important part of these movies later on. Let's see, Haley Atwell, Captain Carter, Agent Carter, all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, Palm Clementif, Mantis. She's in a lot. She's in 7. I'm trying to think. There's Vanessa Kirby, soon to be Sue Storm. Sorry to fall back on the Marvel ones 3 times in a row, but it's what they're most famous for.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. There's a lot of great, very attractive people coming soon, which is good.
Sexy spy shit, huh? Just
sexy spy stuff. Sexy spy stuff. Henry Cavill, he's in 6. Trying to think.
Yeah. That's where
Alec Baldwin comes into these movies at some point. Wow. What's Angela Bassett? Yeah, no, it's like there's so many fucking people in these movies. It's insane. There's so many people in these movies. Sean Harris, the guy who played the King in The Green Knight, is what I would know him from. Oh, okay. That's he's in these movies. There's a lot to look forward to. So we've got a lot. The picture of Tom Cruise on the top of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's from filming Mission Impossible 4.
Damn.
So we've got a lot to look forward to.
It's taken him to some cool ass places. That's for sure. Yeah, he's just been able to do some cool shit that not a lot of people would do. If given the opportunity to, which is the crazier part, is that if you give any person the opportunity to do these things, a lot of people say, no fucking way. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. And he's just doing it for a movie. It's just for the screen, just for film, which is forever, he is an actor. He probably loves his film and all that sort of thing. But man, what a way to be remembered.
Movies and popcorn.
Is all this. Like, he will just, I don't know. He's, to me, like, I haven't seen another actor I want to watch a lot more of, and I feel like he's kind of a similar, just action vein of, what you're getting into when you watch him is Bruce Lee. Like, it's just, the dude could just do anything, and it was him that was you knew it was him doing it, and I feel like Tom Cruise is kind of that. He's just the American kind of, the closest thing to a Bruce Lee, I guess, that we have kind of get. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm number 1. I guess I already seen it. I knew it was going to be good, but I came away appreciating it a lot more, and remembering a lot more than I thought I did. And yeah, I don't know, could appreciate the craft.
God,
of
puts
it
a fucking smile on my face every time too. Like, I've seen this movie I don't know how many times. In the ending, whenever she's like, "Would you consider the film of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Perhaps Aruba?" And he just kind of like sits there looking at her, and then I'm a sucker for it, man. It puts a giant smile on my face. I love it. And that's just kind of how I feel about all these movies, man. You'll hear me say it multiple times. There are no bad Mission Impossible movies, and I know that some of you will disagree, but that's just how I feel. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Just like Star Wars, if you love the franchise, you can't truly hate one movie. Some people can maybe call some of them bad, but it's like, no, some of them, one of them just has to be on the bottom, the way order lists go. But no,
way rankings are. Yeah, that's why I'm excited to do the rating for these movies, because I love the ratings because it's arbitrary. It's like, how do you assign a numerical value to something that is art? It's almost impossible, but we try to do it because it's fun. It's a fun way to keep track of things. So, always remember, if you're listening here, never take it too seriously. This is a letterboxed 5 for me. This is not a Cinementalimeter 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's and what does that mean? It means whatever the fuck I want it to mean. You know what I'm saying? It's because I've made it up. It's because I decided. That's what that means. There's that's why I'm like, every rating system. It's so funny. I saw an exchange on Blue Sky the other day between somebody talking about Rotten Tomato meter scores and like that whole thing, because the tomato meter is determined by a percentage of how many reviews are positive versus negative. It's not like, whenever it's like a tomato meter is 100%, it doesn't mean it's a perfect movie. It just means that every review has been generally positive. If everybody gives it a 3 out of 5, that's over 50%. That's a positive review. That's what makes it 100%. And so like that's. There was somebody saying, like, you can't disagree with the tomato meter because it's not actually a rating of the movie. It's a collection of reviews about the movie, and it's just like, who fucking cares? I don't care if you disagree with the tomato meter. I also don't care if you do agree with it, or like if you do. Like, it's up to you, man. It's art. Fuck it. So we are going to assign it a number here in a moment. If you disagree with it, I don't care. Yeah, do you have anything else to say about Mission Impossible here?
I was wondering if I could really theory cook it all. I don't really think I can here. There's not really much to go on other than Aruba, or was that, or Arabia? What was the Aruba? Yeah, but the place, or the tape that John Voight got at the beginning was, I don't know, was some
the cinema of the Ukraine
place that
it was not actually. It was the Ukraine.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, but I guess a unrelated.
It didn't have anything to do with the mission they were doing. The closest it had to do with anything was like Eastern European operatives. That was the knock list they were targeting. And that's
it could, I guess. Maybe have a region of where we're going next, actually, possibly. So, but not other than that, not much to really go on. Other than I feel like he'll stay on the outskirts. He won't really ever go fully back in officially, but he's just always there.
He's just a hero. He's the hero for hire almost. He'll be around. But we got a lot to look forward to, man. I love me some Tom Cruise. Love me some Ethan Hunt. And so with that, I will go ahead and do the plugs, and then we'll rate this movie. If you would, leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. Keep on coming back for the next several weeks as we anticipate Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning. Very excited. We got Mission Impossible 2 next week, Mission Impossible 3 the week after that. Cannot wait. We are currently doing Fire Pod with me, a Twin Peaks podcast, and I am so very, very excited about that. That show is doing incredibly well. This next week, we are reaching the penultimate episode of Season 1. On April 7th, we are discussing Episode 7, which I'm very excited for. We will be nearing the end of Season 1 of Twin Peaks. That show is friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. I'm rewatching it. Joe is watching it for the first time. He's cooking up theories. I'm listening. I'm fueling them, whether they're right or wrong. It's a lot of fun. So you got to check it out. If you've never watched Twin Peaks, now is the time. If you have watched Twin Peaks, go ahead and rewatch it with us. But, let's see. I think it's kind of it right now. We've got Andor coming up in a couple of weeks. We're still a couple weeks away from Andor being on the air, and we'll cover that on Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. Haven't done anything with that since Skeleton Crew. So that's taken a little bit of a hiatus, but our focus has been here and Fire Pod with me. So it's been a lot of fun. We're planning. We're always planning for what's coming next. So post Mission Impossible, we'll have a little bit more for you, obviously. But Mission Impossible is what we've got on the docket for the next couple of months. So stick around for that. But let's go ahead and rate Mission Impossible. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah. Well, I'm liking the way it's looking. I'm liking the way it's written. I'm liking the way it's acted or performed. I'm liking everything. As I said, the only gripe I had was one line that John Voight said, and it was more just like an ick thing.
It was more. It was more to prove that he was the villain too.
Yeah,
it's not like it was out of character.
It's like it actually does work for the movie, but it was So it's there's not really anything I can say that I didn't like. So it's hard to be critical on it. But I don't know. I guess I know it's not a perfect movie, I guess. So I'm not at the 10, but I'm high, I guess, here. This one was very, very nice. It had this, even though it was like late 90s or mid 90s, it felt older for some reason. Like it felt like it had this more classic kind of feel to it, which makes it kind of timeless, or I don't know. It felt like it just aged really well, or that it just will always age well. It's just a movie you can watch at any time. I think I'm chilling at like 9. Let's see. How much room for improvement do I want to leave is the thing. Is there much room for improvement? Maybe like a 9.25 or a 9. Yeah, I like that. I think around there.
I like that. I'm going to balance you with a 9.5, just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm going to go a little higher just because I really, really love this movie, man. I think that, I don't know how much room there is to go higher. And I think that this is, man, it's just electric. There's not a lot to match it. There's a kinetic energy. The way that the shots are composed, like I love a split diopter. Whenever Henry Czerny is like whispering to his colleague in that situation room, he's like, I want him manning an outpost in Alaska by the end of the day. Mail him his clothes. And there's like the background behind them is blurred, and the guys in the background fucking focused in on the left side of the screen. It's gorgeous. Whenever the knife hits the fucking table as they descend into the room and everything. Classic. I love everything about that sequence. The firefighter outfits and the costume design, the tension, all of it. It's just the music, the character work, the acting. It's just so good. And it's sexy and it's thrilling and it's just that good. Yeah. So I'm gonna go 9.5.
I think you may have convinced me because I was the justification for the 2.5 was I wanted to leave 2 spaces. On the 0.25 scale, because I know I'm probably not going to give a 10. Maybe it is out there. I don't know, but I wanted to leave a little bit.
We don't give out 10s a lot. That's a rarefied one.
But no, I think this one does. It feels like it could be peak of the franchise. Like it very well could be my one of the franchise at the end of it. Not. I don't say that in a bad way. I don't say that like I'm looking like all the other movies
original.
Can't quite do it. But yeah, it's like I don't know. It'll always be here. This is the start of it all. So I think I'll join you. We'll make the math easy. Instead of it being I think it was like a 9.38. I think I like the 9.5 round.
The nice round 9.5. I like it. 95% for Mission Impossible. We're the friendliest critics, folks. I promise. But we do love it. We do love it. We love movies. We love talking about them, and we're not gonna shy away from showing our love for them. So 95% for Mission Impossible on the Cinementalometer, and we will be back next week with Mission Impossible 2, directed by John Woo, and I'm so very excited. We love Woo here, so that's something that I'm deeply looking forward to. But yeah, so like I said, Mission Impossible 2 next week. We got Twin Peaks Fire Pod with me going on right now. And we'll be back again next week. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And remember, relax, Luther. It's much worse than you think.